All right. Okay. Now, this is truly a wild angle, but bear with me here. I'm trying something new. Something has been on my mind recently, as it's been a tough year, I think, for most people. It's definitely been a challenging year. But as I have been overcoming these challenges, I really learned quite a lot about myself and learned about challenges maybe being something different that I never really thought of them before. And what I mean by that is all of these challenges that I have been going through have been imperative to my growth. Um, and I think what I have learned throughout this experience is that challenges are indeed initiations which helps you progress. And what I mean is by initiation is basically a massive test that makes you question everything about yourself. But the process has been quite revealing, because the way it is often described is that throughout an initiation you uncover conditioning within yourself. And by conditioning, I mean learned behaviors, learned things that you've picked up along the way as you were growing up, which were serving as a protection mechanism in certain situations. But after a while, these conditioned behaviors stop serving you and they become detrimental to your progress. So then what should really happen is that you become aware of these conditioned behaviors or traits and you appreciate them for what they are, which they have probably been protective mechanisms or they have been useful to you at some point in your life. But then you also let them go and understand that they actually don't serve you anymore. That should be the ideal scenario, but obviously we are unaware of these conditions most of the time, and sometimes you need something else, for example therapy or more spiritual growth and contemplation to actually uncover that these conditionings exist in the first place. So but anyway, this was a bit of a tangent. What I'm trying to say is that um, I have learned to appreciate challenges in my life, and instead of thinking like, oh my god, when will it ever end? When will things get easier? When will my life be easy? Because I used to have that attitude. Um, I look at challenges as, oh, I guess I did really well in my previous challenge and shedded a conditioning that doesn't serve me anymore. And here's the next one coming up. And so now I look at these challenges or initiations um, as a good thing. I can gaslight myself into thinking that I'm being a really good student who keeps getting these challenges, so I can like shed these certain things that don't serve me anymore. And it's been really helpful. Like they do say that your attitude obviously changes everything, and if you are the creator of your own universe, then you might as well think of yourself as a good student and whatnot. But I've been thinking about how one of my obviously I've been through many initiations in life, and people go through initiations ever since they have been children. But like my latest one recently, or one that I think people go through often and maybe isn't considered as an initiation, is becoming a parent for the first time. Because obviously I can only speak about my experience really, but um I was a very good student. I did all the parenting classes, I did all everything I needed to do to prepare for the birth of my child. I learned the rules, I read the books, I knew what needed to be done. But when it actually came to doing the thing, going through it, I quickly realized that just knowing what the book says wasn't enough. So that's when I quickly realized that the personality, the person who I was, isn't going to be enough to raise this child in a way that aligns with my values, which, by the way, included giving that child everything I got and making sure that I give parenting 100% no matter what. And in order to do that, I needed to connect with my intuition. One of my conditioned responses throughout life was disconnecting from my intuition and basically not listening to my gut feelings, thinking reason should always override the gut feelings, like gut feelings don't exist. But I quickly realized that that's actually not the case at all. So when I became a parent for the first time, on those first weeks actually, I realized that I really needed to connect back to my intuition if I wanted to do this right. And connecting to my intuition then will allow me to also connect to my instincts, those parenting instincts that I knew I had and I wanted to cultivate and bring to the front. And so becoming a parent was pivotal in that sense. Because, yeah, it doesn't matter how many books you read, none of them will prepare you for the individual needs that your child has and the individual circumstances that you end up having. And being able to act on the spot using your intuition is actually essential. And now that I have connected to that part of me, I didn't realize, but I unlocked a whole entire new person. That is who I am today, which I love, which I'm really grateful for. Um, but I guess what I'm trying to say is becoming a parent is really challenging because many things will change, but I think people don't always explain enough how, the mattresses aspect of it, how your brain chemistry, your brain structure completely changes. In fact, it is only one of a few times when that actually happens to your brain structurally. One is obviously adolescence, and along those lines, this is why it's called matrices or patrices, because this is including both males and females, or mothers and fathers, or whatever. Um, and you do become a completely different person. And the spiritual initiation of becoming a parent for the first time is actually so life altering that it makes it really challenging. So, circling back to challenges, now having a 4-year-old, so a few years pass and I'm out of the trenches, as they say, I now see that those challenges were absolutely necessary for the transformation that I have gone through. And I really welcome those changes because I really do enjoy the new skills I cultivated during that time. But it's almost like, I needed to be molded in that fire, in that heat. You do actually need that heat on you to actually make the changes that you need to do. So I guess it's really timely as well, this, because even today, this week, there's quite a lot of change going on in the world and quite a lot of powerful, chaotic energy happening. But I think what I want to just say about that is these challenges are necessary to make the changes we want to see. And you can consider these initiations, and out of initiations, a new you emerges, which is really helpful if you want to progress and learn about yourself. So parenting is one of those initiations. And it cannot be understated how meaningful that is. And so if anyone is actually going through those parenting trenches right now. This is just to say that I see you. I know you. I've been there, and it will get easier. And even though you don't believe me right now because it's really challenging, you will look back on this period in a few years' time and think, wow, I transformed so much. Even the birds agree with me. Thank you for that. Thank you for your comments. So, yeah, this is what I wanted to say today.